Hello, in this video I'll focus on the global outlook for cereal markets including wheat, maize and barley, and then look at our domestic market. Starting with global headline figures, if we look towards all major global grains, the USDA is forecasting that in 2017-18 and in 2018-19, consumption will be greater than production. If we break this headline figure and look at only three key grains, barley, wheat and maize, we can see a more in-depth picture. Starting with wheat, on a global scale, 2017-18 is forecast to be a fifth consecutive year of surplus. However, into 2018-19, the USDA estimate there will be a small global deficit. Looking at maize, following poor conditions in South America and the impact on Argentinian maize and the ongoing concerns about the Brazilian second maize crop, 2017-18 is now forecast to be a year of global deficit. Early predictions are also for 2018-19 to be in deficit. If these forecasts do occur, then the 2 years of global deficit will each be the largest deficit in the last decade. Finally, on a global scale, barley is forecast to be in deficit in 2017-18 and again in 2018-19. The forecast for 3 consecutive years where global consumption is greater than production. The forecast consecutive years of deficit leading global ending stocks to be the lowest in over 30 years. The deficit in part due to China's increasing barley import demand. This has led feed barley to be priced above that of feed wheat across much of Europe. With the global market looking tighter than in recent years, we've seen prices rise. If we take Chicago maize futures, we can see a steadily increasing maize price in dollars, rising over 12% from the start of the year to the end of May. Looking toward Chicago wheat, again, there's been a rise in value of this global benchmark futures market. However, the price movement has been far more volatile, the volatility driven in part by the uncertainty of US crop conditions. Hard red winter wheat in Kansas has been reported as poor in relation to last year, and yield forecast down. Looking at the domestic market and focusing on ex-farm prices, we can see that barley has been on a rise throughout 2017-18. The upward market movement driven by an increased usage of barley in animal feed. Support has also come from the European markets, where barley has been trading above the price of feed wheat, allowing our domestic market to rise. The wheat market, while being relatively flat for much of the year, has, since the end of February, seen a rise, driven in part by an increased demand in the northeast and livestock feed demand. However, the rise appears to now be capped, as the option of importing grain rather than using domestic wheat has been preventing much more upward movement. For more information on UK supply and demand, visit the supply and demand page in the markets section of the AHDB Cereals and Oilseeds website, a link to which can be found in the description below. Looking at 2018-19 new crop futures, the November UK wheat futures contract closed above the £150 per tonne mark at the beginning of May, rising further throughout the month. A reflection on a view that the domestic wheat market in 2018-19 may again be tight, against a backdrop of a rise in global markets. In terms of further UK information, the Planting and Variety Survey, currently being conducted, will provide greater information as to the availability of cereals during the 2018-19 marketing year. For daily market information, please visit the Markets section of the AHDB Cereals and Oilseeds website.